I'm just never going to get there. I'm never actually going to get to not care about what my body looks like or what the number on the scale is or how my pants feel. I'm just never going to get there.
We used to be kids. Now we're not. Something happened in between. This is the Broken Youth Club.
Okay, so we were not here last week. We talked about it on the Patreon episode more in depth, but we'll touch on it here. My mom's dad, my grandpa, was really sick for a while. He's been like in heart failure for like, it feels like maybe my whole life, but it got really bad the last couple of years. And then it felt like it went from like manageable to hospice like very quickly to me. And then I got the call from my mom that he had died in the middle of the night last Wednesday. So like very early morning Wednesday. And I got a call from my mom like midday to let me know. And I called my grandma to see how she was doing, and she just sounded really sad. And so I decided to make the trip home. Talked a little bit more in the bonus episode about my like kind of complicated relationship with my grandpa. Yeah. So I super appreciate everybody that sent condolences and all of that. I felt conflicted even really mentioning it because you know, obviously, like I'm sad for my mom and I'm sad for my grandma, but we just had a hard relationship, you know. And I didn't really talk a lot to my grandpa especially since we've moved, but even really a couple years before that. And ultimately, I'm just thankful that he's like not in pain anymore because I know that the last couple months of his life were just like not fun. Yeah. But yeah, so we weren't able to get an episode recorded because I made a red eye Wednesday night and was in Indiana until Sunday night. And then we got back and you were immediately so busy with work Monday.
Yeah, it was like we were jumping right back into the fire of your like double recordings, like
like just your regular job, and you had a lot to catch up on because the hosts of those podcasts had been out the week before, so they were, you know, needing to get caught back up. And so, I mean, you were down here until like 2 a.m. on Tuesday, just getting everything done that you needed to get done for your job. So we just weren't able to get an episode in last week, so apologies for that. But I feel like really nervous to talk about what I want to talk about today.
Well, like I said, I told you, and we can always just not.
I know.
This is your thing, so you do.
I know.
You feel comfortable with.
It's just been weighing on me for a while, and I feel like I need to talk about it. So part of why I had a complicated relationship with my grandpa and my grandma, which I've spoken about, I think just one time before on the podcast, but a lot of my like issues with my body stemmed from comments that would be made by my grandma like very early. I remember being really, really young and her like pinching my sides at a softball tournament and telling me that I had love handles, which I didn't even know what that meant at that point. And I had already started having some feelings about my body that weren't great because I had made a couple of friends whose mom would make a lot of comments about their bodies, and they would either repeat that to me or I would hear their mom say that. And I knew that both of those girls were much thinner than I was. And so I I feel like I've had this really, really awful relationship with my body since like the second grade. And progressively, it just kind of was something that I just always knew about. And when I went into middle school and I went school shopping, I knew what size all of my friends wore. And I remember going school clothes shopping, and we took all these sizes in the back, and my mom had just had to keep bringing me bigger sizes. And I just like cried. And that was the first time that I cried in a dressing room, because I was like bigger than all of my friends were. And I was a bigger jean size than I ever, like, that I realized that I was. And I look back on pictures of me in middle school, and I was just like an athletic little kid, you know, like I just always was like, I don't know, dense because I was like, just athletic, and I'm just like built that way, you know? And then when I got into high school, I was really athletic, and like my sophomore and junior year, which were our first 2 years dating together, it's probably like the best shape I've been in my life. Like I was working out a lot. I was really into volleyball at that point, and I also played softball, so I was like double sporting it, and I was just really, really fit at that point in my life, but also a kid, right? Like a little kid. And I stopped playing softball my senior year, and I remember my grandma making a comment at Christmas that year that she could tell I wasn't in like that I had cut a sport out, essentially. You know, she could tell that I was like gaining weight. And I did gain weight my senior year, but not enough that I needed to like size up in my clothes or anything like that. But I was aware. I was like acutely aware. And when I got into college, I started gaining weight. You know, a lot of people, I think it's like pretty average for people to gain 15 or 20 pounds in college. And I think that probably overall in my college career, I gained 25 to 30 pounds. But it was like every time I went home, my mom would say something about it. Or if I was unlucky enough to be at my grandparents' house, they would say something to me about it. And I remember finally having this conversation with my mom of like, hey, you know, at that point, I think I was wearing maybe like a size 12. And I was like, hey, heaven forbid, I just am okay being a size 12 forever. Like, could you guys please stop making comments about my body to me? It makes me feel like shit all the time. Like, and they would make these like, you know, passive aggressive comments about how I should like be eating more vegetables. You know, celery's real good for you, Kate. Like I'm a fucking idiot or something. I don't know what I should be eating. But when you're in college, you know, like, and you're living in the dorms, you only have a microwave. So it's like, okay, well, what food can I microwave? And then if I go over to eat at like the food hall or whatever, the cafeteria there, it was like a lot of fried food or pizza. And I was like eating what my friends were eating, you know, like and I wasn't in sports anymore. So I wasn't working out. But I remember just like getting out of college, and there was a part of me that was like so happy to like move away, because I thought like, well, this is going to put some distance between me and the people that hurt my feelings when it comes to my body, because I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like at this point, I've just hated my body, and I've been told that I should hate my body for so long. And I just don't want that to be a focus for me anymore. And so I move up north, and I get this, you know, the job at Jellystone, and I am a recreation director. And so my whole job is to like make the programs for these campers and then do that. I hired all the staff and I did all the stuff, and it was
a director of fun.
I was, and it was a fun job. I loved it. And I was,
yeah, that's the way I would always describe, like, what does she do? It's like, well, essentially, like, imagine if you're staying at a campground and then there's all these fun activities and like this going on over here at this time, this whatever, and then field hockey, yada yada yada. All of that takes plan. And then for a while you were in charge of like the pools too, because there were several pools.
Yeah. So the first year I just was in charge of the rec department. And then the second year I had basically gone to the owners and been like, hey, a lot of times like we have to staff so many people for me because I needed people that could get in the costumes for the park because we had all of those character costumes. But then I don't need that many people when we're doing certain activities. So like, could I take over scheduling for the pools too, because then I could just pull people from the pools to do this.
Right.
And it worked out great. Like at that point I was managing like 25 people.
Yeah, you had a good chunk of responsibility.
Yeah,
there.
but I was like really thriving in that, and like it was a super active job, but it was really fun. And I didn't lose weight when I was working there at all, but I felt good. No, I really didn't. No, I actually, my two best friends at the time, they were very exercise heavy and wanted to go on hikes. And I remember trying to like go on a run with them once. And I was like, I've never been a runner, but like, I'm so dead literally about 35 seconds in. So like, this just isn't for me.
I do remember.
But I was really tan. And, I remember this one picture that I was in, because at a certain point also, when you become so aware of your body being bigger than anyone else's, you like start taking all the pictures. You're not in them anymore. But I remember there was one that I was in that I looked at and I thought like, oh, I don't look like too fat in that. But it's sad because I have like this whole like section of my life that I don't have pictures of. But anyway, in my second year at the park is when I got pregnant with Ollie, which we wanted that. We tried for that. It just happened a lot faster than we thought it would. And in my pregnancy with Oliver, I gained like 50 pounds, like well, maybe not 50, probably 40-ish pounds. But I really was just like, I just wanted to be okay with like being pregnant and eating what I wanted to eat and feeling like guilt-free about it. And like, I'll lose the weight after, I'm going to breastfeed. It's going to be great. Like, and I'll worry about it then. Like, I just want to be pregnant and like not care, and that was fine.
Yeah, we messed that Dairy Queen
We
up.
did. We were Dairy Queen regulars at the end.
Yeah, literally like every night there.
Oh my God.
If not more than once a day.
And I was getting like large Oreo blizzards with extra Oreo. Oh my God. Fucking it up. But then I had Oliver and, after you give birth, you like immediately lose like 30 pounds. And I did successfully nurse Oliver, but when you're nursing, it's like, apparently some women can drop weight really quick when they're nursing because it's actually like a lot of calories.
Calorie burner.
Yeah. But for me, you also eat more because you're starving because all of your nutrients are getting sucked out. And, so for me, I also just managed to pretty quickly gain that 30 pounds back. And so after...
Well, I'm sure the isolationism didn't help.
Well, yeah, because we also had decided at that point, like there was no way I could go back to my job. Because in the summertime, I mean, I was pretty regularly pulling 15-hour days, like pretty regularly.
And then, just real quick to go back to the whole, how many people you managed, like you implemented basically a change that saved them like lots of money, like
fair amount of payroll,
lots of money. And you had, I think we alluded to this on maybe the bonus or something, but yeah, you had asked for a pay raise, and it was such a pitiful raise that it was like, that doesn't even cover like a third of my childcare for the year. Like, so it was just so insulting that
I had saved them a fair amount of money in payroll, and they basically offered me $1,000 like extra each year, which was like
in the year.
I want to say it literally was like $20 or less more that I would make on my checks. It was
cool.
like,
Thanks guys. Wow.
it was, yeah.
That's really going to buy them diapers.
And it felt like very quickly, it was like, oh, okay. Like this is the kind of boss you're going to be. And this isn't even something that I would want long term.
Let's also, I just real quick, I have to brag on you because I know this episode's going to be heavy more on, getting into your stuff, but this wasn't just an ordinary, and again, I can't remember if we've mentioned it on this show or not, but it wasn't just an ordinary, just a campground. It was a like registered trademark with Hanna-Barbera, Yogi Bear, Jellystone.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the top as far as like what capacity or like,
yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So I started at the Jellystone in Bloomington,
right?
Which I'm sure a lot of you that are listening have either been to that park or know of that park.
I don't know if it's grown or not, but it was really small when you were there.
I think it's pretty much like close to the same size. I think they just added a few more cabins, but yeah. I started there and I worked there for a couple of summers and then basically was able to get hired on at, I don't know if it's the biggest or like one of the top 3 biggest ones in the franchise.
Mm-hmm. And there's like 80 or 90 or something like that.
At that point there was, I'm sure there's more now.
Right.
But it's really, really big. It was a massive campground. It was so cool. If anybody is ever in the Fremont, Indiana area,
you wouldn't think it would be there.
It's really cool.
It really is.
But
huge water park.
Yeah,
it was
great. But it was just very quickly like, this isn't a job that I can work when I live so far away from family that could help with Oliver.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't.
Sorry, real quick. What I meant to say and all that is, you were winning awards.
Yeah.
Like for like when you go to the corporate, not retreat or whatever that would be, whatever. But you won like Recreation Director of the Year for how many? 2 years, right?
I won a couple of recreation awards, and those are like for specific campgrounds based on how customers rated their experiences or whatever. So it's like a customer rated thing.
You were taking home awards.
Yeah, I was like,
fair to say.
I was working really, really hard and really loved the job, but it just wasn't something that I could continue to do at the capacity that it like needed to get done while also having an infant.
Right. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And yeah. So, leaving that, which was a very active job, which stepped into the role of, working out whenever I had left college and I wasn't going to the gym regularly, but I was doing that, then that was great. But then I'm home now and I have this newborn and I have to eat a lot so that I can like nurse this baby, and I'm not leaving home much, or if I am, I'm like going to walk around the mall, but it's not like exercise. And I remember even trying to sign up for this CrossFit gym. And at the time, I was the heaviest I had ever been outside of like right before you give birth.
Yeah.
And it was like, I tried. I like really, and it was expensive. CrossFit gyms, for anybody that has ever looked, they're really expensive.
Yeah.
But I tried. I signed up for it. But it was just really, really hard. And I wasn't physically ready to be in that level of exercise yet. And so I stopped doing that. And then I just kind of stayed in this like heavy space for a while where I knew that like, and again, like the comments kept coming from family, but they would be delivered in like a different way that, nobody was ever flat out like, damn, Kate, you just keep getting bigger. Like nobody was ever saying stuff like that, but it was always just this kind of very like backhanded, like, isn't this healthy? This is so great. Or like, it's like so healthy to go on walks. And it's like, yeah, I'm not stupid. Like I know what activity I can be doing, what activity I am not doing. But I was just, I don't know, you just get in like the groove of what you're doing. And I didn't feel like it was something that I could dedicate time to because it took time away from being a mom. And at that point, my job was to be a mom. I I didn't have another job. You were working a lot to try to build your business. And I was just being a mom and taking care of things and making meals and bringing them to you at the shop and then helping you at the shop when you needed help and we couldn't afford help at that point. So it was like I had filled in with these other roles, and it just kind of felt like my weight and my even like my brain space to want to deal with it was just not there. You know, it wasn't a priority at that point. And then I got pregnant with Arlo and put on more weight. But I think with Arlo, I think I only gained that like kind of more standard 30-ish pounds. But you know, when I had him, I pretty quickly just gained weight to where I weighed around what I weighed when I had given birth to him. And again, was just the heaviest I had been. And we were going through a lot with work stuff. And then we moved out here when Arlo was 1. Right before Arlo's first birthday, we moved out here. And I remember just like always having this thought in my head of like when I moved to Fremont, I was going to go up there and I was going to lose the weight. And then I was going to come back home and everybody's going to be like, oh my God, look how great she looks. She's lost all this weight. And then I didn't do it. And then we moved out here and I thought, okay, well, next time I see people, I'm going to be smaller. And that's going to be like, and I'm going to get so much like self praise from that. And I need that. Like, I need to feel like they think that I am like worth something because I am in a smaller body. Because I'd had these friendships along the way where, and I hate to think that this could be a thing for people, but I've heard it from other people living in bigger bodies too, that like when you are friends with people that are in smaller bodies, you realize that like you're in less pictures or you are invited to certain things, but not other things. And I had a friendship very specifically that she was, beautiful and thin. And I felt like when she would, her and I were so close, but we like very rarely took pictures. Very rarely did she like post pictures of us online together. But then whenever we would be in other group settings with some of her thinner friends, she would take pictures with them. And then those are the pictures she would post. And maybe it was because she just liked the pictures of her better, but it felt like I just didn't fit this aesthetic because I was in this bigger body. I would hope that's not what it was, but that's what it felt like. And that is like, it's such a shitty feeling, and I have like felt that with so many friendships along the way, where I'm just like I'm just like not pretty enough to like to be someone that you want to like be friends with out loud, like, I don't know. So anyway, we move out here and I'm like, okay, we're out here. I'm going to start going to the gym. It's going to be great. I'm going to lose weight. Everybody's going to think I'm so great. And then we accidentally get pregnant with Simon. And I'm like, fuck me, because I am like already at my heaviest. And there's no way that I can't gain weight in a pregnancy. Like, and I only ended up gaining, I gained maybe right at 20 pounds with Simon. But it put me when I went into the hospital, it put me at a weight that I like never ever thought I would see on a scale, like ever. And so after I had him and my weight went back to, I like lost 20 pounds after having him, but still was at this heavy weight for me. That was when I had started like talking to a therapist, because I was just like, I'm so tired of being like so aware of my body all the time. And I tried to just be in this place of like, I'm just going to accept my body where it is, like it's given me these 3 kids. I can still move like it'll get better, but I just like need to be okay with where it is right now, because I cannot stand to just continue to fucking hate myself all the time. Like, or like worry about what people are saying or or maybe even interpret what they're saying in a way that is hurtful when they really truly aren't even trying to be hurtful, but I'm just so used to being so aware of my body that it's like, I can't take anything that you're saying without thinking you're making some backhanded remark about me. Yeah. And I remember talking to my therapist about it, and I was like, you know, I really like want to go to the gym. I like want to do these things, but I have these 2 little kids at home, and we don't live anywhere that we have family. And it just feels like if I would hire someone to watch them so I can go to the gym, that's like really selfish to like spend the money to pay somebody to come do that so that I can pay money to go to the gym and pay a trainer to help me. And she was like, you know, somewhere along the way, you picked up that like self-care is selfish, and that's not true. That's not fair to you. You know, you deserve to have time for yourself to do what you want to do too, regardless of whether or not you go to a job every day, because you work in watching these kids and you've given up a lot to watch the kids. But like, you need to also have time to like fill your own cup and do things that will make you proud of yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay. And I immediately got on the phone with a trainer in the area and hired a nanny. And I remember like my trainer, bless him, his name's Craig. He owns CDA Fitness One-on-One. If anybody is in the Coeur d'Alene, Spokane area, I cannot speak highly enough of this dude. But I sent him a message because he had some openings, and our first training session was on Christmas Eve. And he was like, are you sure you want to start now? You don't want to wait until after the holidays? And I was like, no, like if you'll take me, I want to start now. I don't want to give myself a cheat through the end of the year. Like, I just have to start because I'm like so tired of feeling this way. Mm-hmm. And I started working out with him 3 days a week, very quickly bumped it to 4, which was like a huge cost for us financially. But it was like, Logue, if I could just get a year at this, like if we can make it work for a year, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to feel better about myself. And I'm going to show everybody that I'm like, it sounds so stupid to say, but it's like that I'm like worthy of something, you know, like, because so much of my self-worth, I feel like, is tied to my body and like what it looks like and how much it weighs and what size fucking pants I wear. And I stopped working with the therapist because I was like, okay, well, you know, I worked with a nutritionist for a couple of months, and so that cost money, and then, you know, Craig cost money and the nanny cost money, and so I was like, okay, well, something's got to get cut. And that wasn't because you said that, but it just felt like at a certain point, like, this is so overkill for me. But I stopped working with the therapist, which I realistically shouldn't have, but I did. And I worked really, really, really hard for like the entire 2022. In the first 6 months of the year, I lost 60 pounds. And I felt really proud of myself. And I felt like every time I saw my parents, they made a comment about how good I looked. Or every time I saw my grandparents once in that time frame, and they talked about how good I looked. And like, and you notice that stuff. You notice when people are seeing you and they're like, dang, you look so good. Or people here would say things to me, and it felt like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm like doing the thing that like people will like want to like be around me more. Or they'll like think that I'm like worth spending time with because look, I can do hard stuff and this is great, you know? And I like got certified to be a personal trainer, and I started a program to get certified as a nutritionist, and then the second half of the year, I was still working out a bunch, but for whatever reason, my weight loss just stalled. And I was so frustrated because I still felt like at that point I was like 40 to 50 pounds away from where I wanted to be. Even though physically I felt really good. I felt really strong. I felt like I was back in the size pants I wore in high school, like, but my weight was more. And I was like, well, I don't know what that means, but like, pretty sure I should weigh this number. So, and I felt really frustrated with that. And then everything happened with our nanny in November. And then we moved into this house and I stopped going to the training. And then 2023, I felt like was just a mental health struggle for me in a way that I had like never really felt it. But I noticed also that like the nice comments stopped coming when I would see people, and then I started to gain a little bit of weight back while we were here. And that was like, God, dude, that was like crushing, because I'm like, I tried so hard last year and I worked so hard and I felt so good about myself. And everybody else was saying that I was doing this great stuff and that I was like, look at me go. And now nobody's saying that. And I'm gaining weight and I don't know, like, I didn't have it in me mentally to start that journey back up with that level of intensity. And 2023 was like not as good of a financial year for us. So it was like, well, I can't rehire a nanny because this house is more than what our rent was. And we like our finances just moved a bit, And so it was like, okay, well, we bought gym equipment so that I could work out at home. And then my mental health was just like, shit. And so then of the 60 pounds that I lost, I gained like maybe 20 of it back. And I just felt like, it's just like this different, like devastated. It wasn't even really the right word. It almost felt like I was losing, like I tried really, really hard. And now I'm failing in this way of like, I'm just never going to get there. I'm never actually going to get to not care about what my body looks like or what the number on the scale is or how my pants feel. I'm just never going to get there. And meanwhile, a friend of mine had been losing a lot of weight and I was watching her do it. And I'm just like, man, like, how are you doing it? Because I knew that like certain things in their life had changed a bit, but so I was talking to her and it turned out that she had been on Ozempic, which everybody has heard about Ozempic. And as somebody that had like worked out really hard and eaten really clean and gotten certified, it was like, okay, I can have these feelings about weight loss drugs and like what that looks like, but I also just started to feel that kind of that little bit of pressure of like, okay, well, like maybe I could do that, maybe I could. I don't feel like I can take on the redoing all of the hard work in the gym and eating super, super clean all the time. I'm not ready to do that. So like maybe I could just try this and that would be fine. And I talked to another friend of mine who's in the medical field and I was like, hey, like, what do you think about this? And she was like, I could tell that she was hesitant. Like I could tell that she didn't think necessarily that I should do it, but she didn't tell me no, she was like, well, because I was like, I just feel like I was working so hard, but as soon as I hit that 60-pound mark, it just like, I couldn't get my weight to move anymore. And I was still trying really hard. And like, I just feel like maybe if I got on Ozempic, that would push me past that point. And then I could like really get to where I want to be. And so the friend of mine that had been on it, like got me in touch with her doctor that had prescribed it for her. And I got on the phone with him and he was like, oh, I think it sounds like you'd be a great candidate for it. And And so, in November, like right before Thanksgiving, I started taking that. And, the first little bit was rough, for sure. more than I thought it was going to be, but it essentially just made me like not want to eat, you know, like, and even when I would eat, it was like really not a lot. But I started dropping weight like the first month I was on it. I lost like 15 pounds or something like that. But I just like didn't feel good, you know, like I felt like, I was like shitting all the time, which was like really uncomfortable. And it was also just like really uncomfortable shitting all the time. And I just felt off a lot of the time. Like I just felt like aware that I didn't feel good while I was on it. And then we talked about me having that little scare and going to the hospital. And that was because I had been on Ozempic for like a month and some change. And I felt like every once in a while my heart rate would like quicken out of nowhere. And it really freaked me out. I mean, I started wearing my Apple Watch and my, you know, like resting heart rate or whatever would go from 68 to like 135. And I would literally just be like driving in the car, or like I wasn't like working out. I wasn't doing anything, but it would just kind of like have these big spikes and then go down. And I started just feeling kind of just like kind of weak, and I would get these like really crazy headaches. And then it finally just got into this place with you where I was like, hey, like my chest just kind of hurts, you know? And I'm like scared, you know, my dad had this heart attack, and it just started freaking me out. And so we went to urgent care, and they did an EKG and said that I wasn't having an active heart attack, but you know, they gave me a couple of other like, you know, a COVID test and flu test and whatever. And then they were like, we really need to send you to the ER because we don't know why your chest still hurts, but that's like troubling.
Right.
And so I go to the ER and they do another EKG, and they give me a bag of fluid and do a chest x-ray. And basically they were like, you know, all of this looks really good. I think you were like dehydrated, and I think that it's probably the medicine. So you just need to like weigh whether or not it's worth it to keep taking it if it's going to like make your heart race a little bit sometimes. I was like, okay. But I remember telling you on the way to the hospital, like, I'm going to feel so stupid because I've otherwise always just been healthy. I haven't had a lot of issues. I don't go to the doctor regularly. Like I don't feel sick very often. And here I am like 6 weeks on this stuff, and I feel like something's wrong. Like my body is like feeling off in a way that it's never felt before. And that was scary. And like, how stupid am I going to feel if it was all because I just wanted to like lose more weight, you know, like why? And I got on a call with my doctor, and he was like, hey, let's take a break from the meds for a week and see how you feel. And then if you want to get back on it, we'll do a lower dose. And when I left the hospital, I felt great. You know, I thought, okay, well, it was probably just, you know, dehydrated, and I got that bag of saline, so feeling better, whatever is, I think it's saline. I don't know what the fuck it is, but bag of fluids. And so after a week, I went ahead and got back on it and felt fine. And it's really just been like this last week that I've started to feel some of those things creep up again, where it's like, okay, maybe I need to like drink more water. You know, I'm definitely like, I've never been good about drinking water, and this stuff slows down everything, and you can get dehydrated. And so I need to like be doing that. But I also was talking to my sister today, and I was like, you know, at this point now, I've been on this medicine since right before Thanksgiving, and I have lost 35 pounds. And I don't feel good, you know, like I feel off. I don't. And when I was working out and eating well and losing weight, I felt really good. You know, I remember saying to you at one point, I don't even remember what a stomach ache feels like. Right. I was like, my shits were like super regular, like to the point where it was like, I knew what time of the day I was going to poop every day. And it's like, I was talking to my sister today and I was like, you know, I'm losing the weight, but I like just don't feel good. And she's like, Kate, you need to throw it away. Like, just stop taking it. You need to throw it away. And when I was home, I had told my parents, like, I was like, hey, I'm like really close to not weighing 200 pounds anymore. Like, isn't that cool? And my dad made the comment of like, yeah, like, when are you going to be done? Right. You know? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't even know what the end goal is. And then I started thinking about it more and I'm like, these people that have hurt my feelings along the way, the family members that have hurt my feelings, or the boys that have hurt my feelings, or the people in general that have hurt me, it's like I need one of those people to tell me that I'm done. Like, to tell me that it's good. Hey, you don't need to lose anymore. Like, you are now a desirable person, whether it's a desirable granddaughter or a desirable daughter or a desirable friend. Like, you're good now. You don't have to lose anymore. And it's like, I don't want to chase that. Like, that makes me feel like shit because I don't even know what I'm looking for. So I don't know when I get to be done. And here I am, like, taking this medicine that doesn't make me feel good. Yeah. But when my sister told me, she was like, hey, I'm going to make you FaceTime me and we're just going to throw it away. And I was like, you know, when she said it, I was like, yeah, okay. But then I got off the phone and I almost had this panic of like, but what if I don't lose the weight, you know? Or like, what if I start gaining weight back? Or what if all of a sudden, like, I don't think that like anybody will ever think that I'm a desirable person, you know? Like, that I'm not worthy to like be in their inner circle or be someone that you can be proud of. It's like, it's just a super frustrating place to live. And I don't, obviously at this point, like, I was really nervous to talk about it because I hear a lot of people talk about people that are on Ozempic and they can have like negative things or hurtful things to say about it. But it's like, from my perspective, I tried what I did for all of 2022 and I felt really good in doing it. But mentally, I just couldn't. I like wasn't ready to do it again. And so it felt like this last ditch effort to like just feel okay with myself, you know, like to not be someone that can have their feelings hurt anymore because you can't say mean things about my body. Cause look, I'm like, eventually I'm going to get there and then there will be like mean things that you can say about it. So what else can you say that's going to hurt me? And it's like, I don't know. I saw this,
So sorry, just to clarify, you did throw it away then?
I did not throw it away.
Oh, you have not?
No, I had just told myself like, well, I definitely am not going to take it this week. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely just going to take a break. But it's like, I am in that 6-week mark of when I had taken the break and then started feeling, you know, like at the 6-week mark is when I had started to feel icky the first go around. Yeah. And now I'm starting around that 6-week mark. I'm starting to feel that ickiness again.
Yeah, if it's going to
and it's like
even approach what it was last time, that's where, because this whole time, I feel like I've been pretty supportive, yeah? I mean, as far as like, you do what you feel you need to do.
Yeah.
But when we did have that last scare, it was like, that was, I think, the first time I really did speak up as like, hey, if this is going to be a thing, like, please watch yourself, you know? Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating too, because it's like, I saw this guy and I literally don't even know this guy. He's just somebody that is tied to the community through your work. And I'm assuming he's somebody that every December, people in the community that listens to the podcast Logan works for, add a bunch of people. And so I got all these friend requests and I just like fucking accepted them because whatever.
Oh,
But this guy,
it's a dangerous time to do that.
well, but this guy
Yeah.
made this post and it said something along the lines of, I've found that really overweight women are the ones that are hitting on me the most, but I'm just not attracted to them. And in the comments below, he said something like, anything over 185 is too big for me. And when I tell you, one, I'm uninterested in any man, but I would especially be uninterested in this one. Like, I am not physically attracted to this person
Am I friends with this one?
at all. I'll tell you who it is when we're done. So it's like at the end of when I tell you at all, I'm not attracted to this person at all. I could not give two shits
Sure. Okay. I got
who he's attracted to. But reading it hit me in this place of like,
yeah.
is 185 what I need to be shooting for? Because I weighed 185 when I was 17 years old and I'm 34 now. Like, is that the number I'm supposed to be shooting for? Because I've had 3 kids and like,
yeah.
but even if I did get that low, then like, then it feels like I don't know what the goal is. If I ever tried to push my body to 130, I would be so ill. Like I would be so sick.
I think it's.
I just can't get.
Can I answer? If I have a honed husband / friend advice, obviously I'm not the pinnacle of health. I need to eat better. I need better gut health. I need to exercise on some level. Like I feel like I've ebbed and flowed as far as like sometimes I'm a little better about, like getting out and walking every day, that kind of shit. But I don't go to the gym. When I can hit a basketball court, I'm cool. I think it's not a specific number. It's more of like a like how good can I feel in this chapter?
But I think that's what's frustrating is when I was arguably literally 15 to 20 pounds heavier than I am right now.
Yeah.
Right before I was going to start training like as a trainer at the gym, I felt really good.
Yeah.
Like I felt like.
And what's your point? Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was done. I didn't feel like I had gotten the permission from the people that I needed, that I felt like I needed to get permission from to be done. I didn't get that.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is you were at it for how long would we say? Like a full year, right? As far as like working out and sticking to like this diet routine and all that. We say 9 months to 12, somewhere around there. What I was saying is you were in a state overall from day to day, from week to week of like feeling good, feeling healthy, feeling energetic, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't feel like you were necessarily done because, you've only been doing it for 9 months or 10 or 12 months, whatever. If you have been now, if you got into that and you were able to keep that up for as like, your new lifestyle is like, you maybe not as hardcore as you were going that first year, but maybe you kind of pulled it back a little bit, but you were still hitting the gym regularly. You were still, the diet had changed. I guarantee you, if we were to just kind of continue down that path, you would have settled into a very comfortable, I think you would have slowly accepted where you would have settled. Cause you could not go at the pace you were going and eat as healthy as you were eating for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years and not hit. And then like, just like magazine, you were doing it right is what I was saying.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying you did so much in just 9 months and 12 months, whatever. Like if you would have kept going, I think you would have found that. I don't think it would have been a number or whatever. I think you would have just hit a point where you realized, damn, like I feel, I don't know, whatever that was for you. I just don't necessarily think in your mind you were there yet. But yeah, I think you did. I've said it on this show before. The amount of work that you did is that sticker you see on those like infomercials of like results are not typical or whatever. You like without any real supplements or you know what I mean? You were just eating healthy and working out. And you lost dozens and dozens of pounds. And yeah, like we said, like life circumstances have changed your ability to do that for various different reasons. I hope we can get back to a point where we can make that more accessible again. I know we have the gym equipment. It's a slightly different situation, but even if you don't, like, we'll find something. But yeah, I don't want you to continue to do something that's making you feel shitty just because it is a potential solution. You know what I mean? Because yeah, like you said, you could get down to a certain place and still not have dealt with the underlying issues of like, why do you feel you need to be there in the first place?
Yeah.
But I'm not a therapist, like I was just trying to be the best supportive, like, friend, husband, because I try to look at specifically with this situation of when you not even ask me, like, that's not the type of relationship I think that we have where it's like, you didn't ask my permission to like do this or anything, but you did run it by me to essentially get my thoughts. I mean, that's how we operate. Like, what do you think about this? But yeah, I said that, I personally really don't know a ton about it other than I had seen that it's not just a weight loss drug, but it helps with, oh shoot, I started losing you. We've talked about this before.
You had found a couple of articles where it talked about how it helped with people like that would
compulsion.
Yeah. So it was like people that struggle with, thinking about, let's say, drinking all the time.
Yeah. Smoking,
it helps.
Right.
It helps with that. Like,
addictive properties of that. Compulsory. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
I know it shows promise. I know there's always downsides too, but I would say I was a little apprehensive, but ultimately in the end, like, you're grown up too, and I know you're going to make the choice that you think is the best choice for you, and I'm not going to be.
That's the fucked up thing though, is like, I know what the best choice is for, like, the obvious choice when you're taking something and you don't feel good is to stop taking it. But the choice that I would want to make isn't always tied to that. And that is super frustrating. It's just because it just feels like I'll never get there. Like, but I don't even know. It's like, how do you know what an end goal is when you don't know how to define what it is? Like, I don't even know like when the race is supposed to end.
When you were like in the heart of working out, our house,
I felt good. I felt strong. I was doing those Spartan races. I ran a half marathon.
Did you at least feel
really
closer to that goal?
I at least had felt good enough that I was going to start helping other people do it. And now, like,
but I'm saying, did you at least, if you had to argue between now and then, did you at least feel closer to that goal?
Yeah.
So that is more, I think what I'm trying to get to is like, what if the goal isn't something that you actually cross a finish line for? What if it is just a thing that you have proximity to? You know what I mean? It's like, you'll never actually touch the goal. No one will. It's a magnet. We can only get as close to the magnet as possible with resistance, sure. But like, if you were closer to the goal then versus now, at least you're in a more comfortable zone. You're in zone A versus zone, D.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what it's about. Same thing with, like, for me, like depression. I think I have to recognize, I think I've said this before, I'm always going to live with it to some degree. I don't think there's going to be a cure. If there is, like, sign me up. I think the ketamine shit has helped periodically. I'm scared to go now because of, the last like few months have just been like, zzz.
Yeah.
So that makes me nervous. But yeah, I look at it. Yeah, if I put it into that perspective, like, I'm never going to be, we'll say zone 0. Like, I will never get into that one. But if I can make it to zone 2 or the outer perimeter of zone 3 versus being way off in zone 10,
Yeah.
like, at least I can get closer and closer to that warmth and,
Yeah.
but understanding I'll never get inside to see the concert, but I can hear it from the parking lot,
Yeah.
It's better than hearing it at my hotel. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm losing my analogy there, but you get me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk more off air. Obviously, you just kind of told me a little bit more about this, like, in the last little bit. So.
Yeah. I hope for anybody else that is on it, it's not making you feel the way that I'm feeling. And if it is working for you, super happy for you. I think for anybody that feels icky about people being on it, I would ask that you give people a little more grace. Because some of us don't even know what we're trying to heal. We're just trying to figure it out. And it was something that, like, I felt really embarrassed about when I first got on it. And I felt nervous to talk about it on here because I don't want people to think certain things about it. And I didn't want it to, like, invalidate everything else that I did before I got on it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want it to be like well, now I can't promote, like, the other things that I did because I also, at the end of the day, still got on this other shit too. It's like, we're just all fucking trying, and I'm just trying to be a woman and a mom and a daughter and a wife that doesn't fucking hate her body every time she sees it in any kind of shiny surface. Like, I just want to be able to, like, live my life and wear shorts in the summertime and put on bathing suits and play with my kids and not worry about what other people might think I look like or what I think I look like. I just want it to be, like, as normal and regular as if I have brown hair or yellow hair. Like, I just want it to be, like, there and not something I am just constantly wondering what other people think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's that. To fucking stumble out of that, because I just, oh my God. Gotta wrap it up. Oliver brought home a fundraiser thing yesterday, and I don't even actually know if it's a fundraiser, but it was a thing. It was an order form, and you could order things and send money to the school and make the checks out to the school. So that feels like a fundraiser.
Yeah.
But I got so excited about it, you guys, when Oliver brought it, because I've never seen a fundraiser like this before in my life. But I immediately thought they should be doing this. But that was gross that I just did that.
Okay.
I'm so, wow. Anyway, Oliver got a fucking yo-yo fundraiser.
Yeah.
And there's a basic yo-yo.
Let me see one.
There's a basic yo-yo and a snapback yo-yo and a spark yo-yo. And then on top of that, which I've never seen before, they also have a yo-yo holder where you can zippy-doo your fucking
either.
And clip it to your bag, bitch. This isn't going anywhere. When I tell you and replacement strings, when I tell you I ordered one of everything on that fucking sheet.
Yeah.
Without hesitation. And these are for me. These are not for our kids. If either one.
Are these the only ones we have?
Yes.
Okay.
3. They're ours. And it made me think, like, this is a free business idea for anybody that wants it. Okay? Because we're not going to do it. I do not understand why our fundraisers are still selling, like, candles and cookies and laundry detergent and trash bags and not shit that gets millennials hyped. Because if you would do a fundraiser with yo-yos, it will be successful. If you would do a fundraiser with fucking like those little pop-it things that we would get out of the treasure chest at the dentist office, you know what I'm talking about? The like fucking,
Yeah.
oh my God. If they did one of those and like some of them were like sparkly, glittery and big and little, I would,
Try to do it
or
soon,
like
yeah.
Pogs. Like if they would just do a fundraiser
yeah.
of Pogs, Logan,
Hell yeah.
I would die. Like that is the stuff I will blow money on before I buy candles that I can't smell or cookies that are super expensive.
Did you go through a yo-yo phase? Like when you were like in school?
I could never do tricks.
Really?
I think maybe I could do like a one thing,
Yeah.
but I wasn't as good as everybody else.
Oh.
Or like, oh my God, hacky sacks. If they would do a
Yeah.
fucking fundraiser with hacky sacks, I could never do those either. But I tell you, I would buy one of all of them.
Let me see that green one right there. Yeah. This is
the snapback one.
Yeah, this is essentially, this reminds me of the one I had for sure. And yeah, you could adjust the tightness to get the spin you want. And what was the loop? Oh yeah, I used to take the loop, but then you put it through the string like this, right?
Yeah, I showed Oliver how to do that today.
Yeah, okay.
To make the slip knot.
Yeah. No, I could do, the basics like the walk the dog around the world, whatever. What's the one where it's like you make the triangle and the baby in the cradle?
That was
something?
the one I could do.
Yeah. There's a couple others I could do in there. My brother was better for sure because we were both into it at the same time. But
the guy that brought these, I can't remember what the message was because there was also like I think it was a message on like your mindset, having like a good mindset about things. But anyway,
never give up.
The guy that brought these,
Do your best.
Showed the kids some tricks and like showed them how to do them, but then also has a website where you can go like watch tutorial videos of how to do tricks and shit. But it's like, dude, even if somebody did like a fucking like the string where you would like do the different string things, like you could borderline do a fundraiser where it's just like a little booklet with like a fancy string.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like give me the things that I loved when I was a little kid. You could do literally a fundraiser and the prizes or the things that you're purchasing are like just random toy lots from like 90s McDonald's. Like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could just find a bunch of vintage toys and I would buy them. But like, I wish that more people would offer fundraisers like this because these 3 yo-yos, the one holder and the string, $54. And I literally didn't even think twice. I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
This one yo-yo, the Spark one, Light Up Boy, $18 for this one yo-yo. But I tell you, our kids will not touch this.
Yeah, let me see that.
It's so good. It's 2 different colors. It's delicious.
I love it. Let's get to yo-yoing. You want to have a contest after this?
Yes. In front of the kids. But then when they ask if they can try it, we say, no.
All right.
Don't. Okay, so that's all. Please be fucking nice to me, you guys. If you have feelings that aren't nice about what I talked about today, please just please don't. Okay, I'm like a nervous wreck to even post this at all. Logan was like, "Are you sure you want to talk?" Like, please just be nice to me. Okay, I am like clearly, I don't want to care about my body. I'm sure y'all don't care about my body. I just am having a go of it. And I will throw the medicine away, but I'm not going to do it tonight.
It's fine. Hey.
But like,
I will say,
please just be fucking nice to me.
Not maybe just, I don't know how you can take this hopefully than just like some encouragement of like, yeah, I obviously used to myself have my own body issues. I still do, of course. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I've hit this stage of like threshold. Yeah, as long as I stay like under like this area, fuck it, like,
yeah.
And I had a similar feeling the other day when Ollie brought up asking about, my fucking bald spot, like my hair balding. And I was like, you know what? I do genuinely, I started to think about it less and less.
Yeah.
Because it's just starting to hit me as like, I said something like, imagine you're the scientist where it's like you're telling everybody like, hey, the world's going to end in like 15 days. Like we got to get this in order. We got to blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, but sir, what about your hair? And it's like, no, like the world's on fire right now is the way I feel, like with all that's going on and like the stress and like the cost of shit and like just keeping shit together. The last thing I'm really fucking worried about is the fact that I got a baloney patch on the back of my head. Like,
Well, it's not quite baloney yet, but anyway.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the same thing with like, I will say, just back to the weight, I am fortunate that I don't feel the need to like step on the scale every day anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah, I would like to get back to that because I feel like I am like obsessively on the scale every morning.
Yeah. I know I'm within a range, and I just feel like I don't feel, I have bad gut health right now. Yeah, I eat like shit. Like, I know I need to get that under control. But as far as like what size shirt I'm in, like what size sweatshirts I can wear, like, yeah, I'm cool right now. Like,
well, I think that's what's so annoying about me. It's like, I am in the size pants that I was in high school, and for whatever reason, I'm like, but I need to be in a smaller size. And it's like, but I've never bought a size pant. I've never bought that size before.
Yeah, right.
So that's where I'm so irritated with myself, because it's like, you're chasing something you've literally never had. What are you doing? Like, why can't you just be okay with where you are? Like, outside of not feeling very good, like, I can move around. I can chase after the kids. I can go up the stairs and not feel winded. I could walk around our hilly ass driveway and be okay. Like, I am okay. I could go sign up for a 5K and not think about it. Like, there are things I could go do that are fun. So like, why do I still feel like I have to chase this? And I think it really genuinely is, I'm waiting for the permission from the people that have hurt me. And I don't want to do that anymore. Like, because those opinions don't matter. Like, you, even at my heaviest, you were like, Kate, I think you look great. Like, you have never, ever, ever made me feel shitty about my body ever. And I should be so thankful for that. And like, feel like, if you're the only you and the kids, like, those are the people I need to be like a desirable wife and a desirable mom. Like, I need to be like a good mom that my kids want to have and be around. And I need to be a desirable wife that my husband wants to be around. And that has never tied to my body for any of you guys. Like, and I wish that I could just get myself in a place of like, hey, the people that matter are good. Like, I don't have to chase this anymore. But I still read stupid ass stuff like what that guy said. I don't know him at all. So like, why did that hurt my feelings?
Yeah.
Like, when I show you the picture of this guy, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe that you were even worried about that. But it like hurt my feelings regardless. It did.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway. Okay.
Let's get out of here.
Oh my God.
Careful.
If you have a story you want to tell, you can send that into mylife@brokennouthclub.com. If you aren't in the Facebook group, I would highly recommend it.
Invite some people, by the way. Let's try to grow that a little bit.
Okay.
If you have anybody you think might
benefit
from being in the group, man, it's just today someone commented. I don't want to get too into the details of it, but it was a very specific, like, hey, my partner has this, and I'm just kind of like, how do I deal with this, basically? And it was posted within 12 minutes. It had already had a handful of people, like genuine, like paragraph long responses.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad, as small as it is, I'm so glad that there are a good faction of people who seem to use it for what I intended it to be.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not looking to make it like freaking huge, but it just every now and again we'll call out to say, let's try to grow the community there a little bit too.
Yeah.
So invite some people in and or share an episode.
Yeah.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah. And what else? Is that it?
I don't know.
That's really all-
I cut you off.
I
I
know,
think
my
most people know what we
God.
got to offer there
Yeah.
at this point. So yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being nice. I know you're gonna be nice to me,
Yeah.
but like, be nice to me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
We'll chat with you guys next week.
All righty. We'll see you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.